All right. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right, folks. I am just really quickly. Here we go. I am live. And hopefully my sound is not on there. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Gina from Little August Ranch. Ay. Okay. Made a mistake a second ago, but I am back on track. Um, Life has been very interesting the last 3 weeks. So hopefully today we're getting back to where we need to go and do and be and all those good things. And we will talk more later. If you are joining me for the first time, my name is Gina. I live in Arizona. We are on a wood sign ranch. We live out in the middle of the desert until a very short time ago, and now we seem to be having houses built all around us, but we're still on acreage, so that's great. So I'm going to start tonight. I've had a lot of newbies come in lately with a lot of questions. Perhaps you have not yet painted any tiered tray or wood items. I do have quite a few videos in the Facebook group. If you want to search that, that's great. I am going to reorganize here shortly. We used to run all kinds of coaching programs and whatnot, so I know how to do it. I know I have the tools. We just switched over to this site I guess 6 months ago now, and life was just so busy with all the orders. So I'm going to start out by showing you one of the most requested tips is how do you keep your items legible once you paint it, because this here you can see has a really deep, this is an engraved, some have score and some have score and some have engraved, but the technique is pretty much the same. I use makeup sponges. You can get these at the Dollar Tree store. I also have a link. I'm going to add all the links here in this group now where I get these myself. And what I do is already make a mess. I dab off the paint so that it's not thick. It's much better to go over several times than it is to go over once thickly. And you'll see that it dries really fast too. You don't want to do this with a paintbrush because paint is going to go into the grooves. So just a nice little touch. Oh, and I am using painter's tape to hold down my piece. Sometimes you'll see me using my handy dandy toothpick. In this case, you'd want to put it inside because it's nice and engraved there. You can do that on top of using your piece of tape or on here, wherever. It does hold it down nice if you don't want to get your fingers all painted. So that is basically that. Isn't that quick? That is that's my jam, man. So that piece is done. Technique number 1. Another thing that you will see me do often is use stain. And tonight I'm going to use my indoor stain. This is not the set, by the way, that I was going to demonstrate today, but things got all topsy-turvy and whatnot. And so this is what we ended up with, which I'm really excited about because it's brand new. Typically, I wait until I'm completely finished painting or staining a piece to glue it together. Tonight is no exception. But I do want to show you how this crate goes together. If you're going to be ordering it, you'll need to know. So the bottom piece, I mean, it's pretty obvious, I would think, but you want to just put that all the way down to the bottom. And yes, this is inset a little bit just to keep things nice and tidy. Then glue that one. So really the top piece is the only piece that you would really need to stain or paint if that's what you're going to do. I would do the inside piece too, but make sure that it's facing outward. Okay, you don't have to do anything on the back at all. So this would be the unfinished side with the little scorches, and place those in there. Ta-da! And then to finish it off, you'll be finishing these little guys in the same manner and gluing it all on. Now, if you wanted to make a white crate, Same technique that I just showed you. Dab, dab, dab. And that would be super cute. But I really, really like the stain look. And I'm going to show you one of the stains that I use that's really easy. I have a tutorial just on stain. I do sell this if you can't find it. Some of these things are becoming more and more difficult to find. And I may be able to get you, if you need to order it online without me, it's probably even easier. I can probably get you a coupon code for that. So I will see. I'll check, okay? All right, it's so easy. I mean, you just literally brush it on like you would paint. Only I kind of do this a little more sloppy because it's a gel. It's goopy. Well, I wouldn't say goopy. It's not like it's slime or anything. And I want to show you too. It's pretty light, but you can go on a little heavier and darken it up, or you can use a baby wipe to lighten it. And I do both, just depending. This, unfortunately, is the only shade of brown that they have. They have a lot of other colors, which would be really fun for this entire set. If you want to give it a watercolory sort of look, you can also do that. Oh, I'll demonstrate some other things another time. I don't want to confuse you with too many methods just talking about them, so I will hush. Let's see, that's going to be the inside. Don't have to do anything at all with these pieces, all right? And then see how the scored little nails, they stay really, really nice. You can see them great, but I don't like to leave them like that. I will put a little bit of gray on that to make a little nail head. And the same with the engraved or scored, the engraved letters. You want to be careful going over this kind of quickly, and you can definitely use the sponge with the stain as well, so it doesn't go deep in there. I'm not really worried about this because it's brown on brown, but you can see how I got a little bit in there. I should say it was on purpose so I can show you how you get it out. There's a couple of methods, and I've shown one of them. Well, I've shown all of them in the past, which was the reason why I was going to show you that other set tonight, but we'll wait. I'm going to show you the painted way, but you just can real lightly go in there with a toothpick or a pen or something like that to get it out if it's bothering you. Brown on brown, I don't worry about that one bit. So when you're painting, especially the tiered tray items and stuff, you'll notice that your paint dries pretty quickly. The wood is thirsty and it takes it right in. So I just don't even, I have a nice little drying area over here, but it's occupied. We have been slammed with orders for finished items, which is really, really great. It's just taken me a lot of extra time this week. And that is why I'm coming on here so late. If you are popping on, I should say, to see the wheel spin, that will be coming up. After this live ends, I will pop over and do another really quick live. All right. I sure hope I'm in the right group. Yes. Okay. I should check that in the beginning, right? I know, sometimes. All right, so see, this is just a really nice look for your crate. And again, I can show that upside down. This is a nice stain without it having any odor whatsoever. So there's no icky smells if you're using this inside. I love using real stain. Shouldn't say love. I like the look. I like it a lot, but we do that outdoors. All right, I'm just going to, let's see, do a little bit of this. What should I show you today? Just because it's a really big set with a lot of pieces. What color is cabbage? I'm looking at my colors over there going like, huh, we don't have a, I like my cabbage to be a pretty green, you know, if I'm eating it and all. So for you newbies, I'm just going to show you again another really easy, quick method. I think that's cabbage looking. So this is called Foliage Green DecoArt. And I am also working on putting all of the paint colors next with the sets and all that goodness in my spare time. And so just dab it. See how nice this looks with the score lines. You don't have to do anything else to it if you're brand new. This is your first time doing a DIY and you want to keep it super simple. This would be super simple. It still looks nice, but it's super, super simple. Anybody can put paint on a sponge and dab, dab, dab. That's all you really need to do, okay? However, I'm going to come in here and add another color. I always grab for the same. This really pairs nice. Okay, this is going to be my mistletoe. This is mistletoe. And I'm going to grab an angled brush and some clean water. I keep a little jar of, well, it's got a little red. Little red never hurt, right? That'll be the rust in the water. And so I'm going to just get that a little bit wet. This is a really tiny brush. I don't know, do I like that color? I don't know if I like it or not on this. Hold on. I think it's fine. So a little bit of wet. Usually if you're going to do like one-step painting, you're going to have a little bit bigger of a brush if you're new. But I do kind of give it a swipe off. And then I'm just going to follow the line. Follow the line a little bit here. So it's going to give it a little bit of a watercolor look. And again, tonight I'm keeping it super simple for newbies. I'm going to follow this little line, and you can even go over it when it's just a teeny tiny bit dry. Not dry, of course, but just a teeny tiny bit, so that you get it that watercolor look. And that looks really pretty on stained pieces. I like to do this when the paint is a tad still wet. Of course, like I said a few minutes ago, it dries so fast. That wood just absolutely drinks in the paint. And so the background is not wet very long. What am I trying to say? You guys, like I said, it's been a year this last couple weeks. All right, and again, I'm just tracing these lines. Painting is very therapeutic if you let it be. I don't want anybody stressed out about doing this. This is your anti-stress. For me, those adult coloring books are so dang stressful. I can't even do them. But painting, if you mess up, there's so many fixes. Just let it dry completely. You can sand it off, okay? Or you can paint over it. There's any number of ways. I never want anybody frustrated or not liking what they did in tossing it. Nothing like that. So we'll walk through things. If you have problems, you just let me know. Let the group know. Somebody will come along if you're new and help you out. See how pretty that is? So it tones down those darker lines, the score lines, if you want it toned down. Of course, like I said, you don't have to. If you want to go around on the outside, you certainly can. I kind of like it the way that it looks. Bring it up here so you can see it. That would be your cabbage. Of course, if you're a purple cabbage person, let's do the purple. You can certainly do a purple cabbage. Speaking of purple, I don't think we have an eggplant color, but eggplant is super dark. I like eggplant a lot. Maybe what? Oh, I didn't show you the color. To the purple, we're going to add a little Diazine purple, whatever the heck that is, antique maroon. I think that's a pretty color combination for your eggplant. Oh, I feel like eggplant parmesan. I love to cook, you guys, and one of my favorite things is eggplant. I make a baked eggplant parmesan. I did this a little bit differently. I put both colors on the sponge just because I thought that would be a really fun look, and it's not disappointing because your eggplant really is kind of two-toned. I grew eggplant once in Idaho when we lived in Idaho. It grew very well. I was very happy with it. I don't want to do this real heavy again, you guys. Like I said, I want a kind of a little bit more of a watercolor effect for this set. So I was just kind of lightly sponging the maroon into the middle and playing with that. And then once again, I think I'm going to just add a little bit of water onto a brush. This is a liner brush. And this, I did get the paint down here where the little stem part is, and that was totally by design. I certainly did want to be careful sponging that on. So I'm just going to go down here in the little pokies. Is that what they're called? The little cap. And paint away. And then I know it on the eggplant it's a darker, isn't it? On the cap. Oop. And again, for this kind of thing, you can feel absolutely free to let your piece dry before you mess with it. But here's me. Workshop Wednesdays, sometimes we come on here and everybody kind of does a project together. Sometimes I'm on here doing technique. If you've missed it, that's because I haven't been on here, this site. So when I say here, I'm just now moving over to the VIP page to go live, and we will be playing around maybe with Zoom. If y'all want to do that, come on here on the live Zoom, and so we can all be painting together. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a brand new paint that isn't open. I have every color that DecoArt makes, and so sometimes it's difficult to remember all the colors. All right. I'm also really bad, and I go in through the lid. But I just want to add a little bit of highlight to the one side. That wouldn't be highlight, that'd be more of a shadowing with the whatever color I called it. Black Forest green. It's going to make this side just a little darker. If you wanted to highlight, you could come back in here and do that on the top side. Again, this is like when I finish the set, I intend for it to look more like a watercolor effect all in all. So I'm not going to have like that cute little whimsical white little lines and dots and things like that I so often do. I like variety. Variety is the spice of life, right? And then let's see. I'm going to do the tomatoes for you. The blueberries are going to be fun, but I don't want to keep you here all night. So let's see. Is there such a thing called tomato? Tomato, it needs a little bit of an orange hue. The colors that I give you, you guys don't ever feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta go buy that color. Scarlet's kind of cool. Use what you have. If you're comfortable mixing, you know, there's so many guides on mixing and whatnot, but paint's cheap, so feel free to play around with it yourself and see what you can come up with. Hey, as you come on, feel free to say hi. It's really nice to know who's on here. I should have said that in the beginning, but I was chatting with somebody else on, oh, here we go, on another thread about going live. So this is tomato red, and look at that difference. I almost went with the orange one. And I know tomatoes are like so many colors because in Idaho I grew tomatoes of every color, including purple. I love the purple tomatoes. They were so pretty. Our yellow tomatoes, the little grapeseed yellow tomatoes, were the sweetest. They were so good. This is really cool. The little tops come separate. So I'm going to sponge right over everything. These sponge can be reused, but you got to put them in the water right away. So this, see the tomato, it does have some darker like blue tone in it. So this would be like your, oh, what kind of tomato? Like early, what's it called? Early girl? I think she's more red. See, I'm just going to go over this with one coat to make it more on the watercolor translucent, just lightly background. If you can see that, it's not going to be that dark, heavy paint or like more solid paint that I normally use. And I am liking a lot right now to maybe grab that same maroon color that I was using, or not maroon, deep burgundy as the shadow, because I don't like to tell everybody to use so many colors, you know. And so what I'm going to do with this is to, hold on a minute, put this back. My brushes need cleaning. They start to get, you want to be really careful that you never get the paint up near the top. And I mean, I say that and it just happens. I am using an angled brush again, and I'm just kind of following in the little crevices. I'm going to go back and hit this with some water. So it kind of looks dark at the moment. That's not how it's going to stay. I'm going to rinse that a little bit and then go in my clear water. And then I'm going to pull it under. I'm pulling it towards the side and just kind of pulling. And this, you don't want to let this dry. You want to get in here and do this right away when you're shading. I mean, there's other ways that you can go in and shade. This is just, again, I'm talking to beginners. I got something on that. It's driving me nuts. Feel free to take it real slow and then come back later and add a little bit of darker if you need to, or darker. The red again. But I'm going to just color that in a little bit so it just has a little bit of shadow towards the middle. You can brighten it up too by using the lighter color, which I will. I'm going to just add a little bit more of that tomato red. It came over a little far. And then I think here on this side, I'm going to use just a little, oh, wait a minute, what did I have? That scarlet's really orange. I don't want to put quite that orange. But I did want to add a little bit of bright. And that's only because these, this piece here, these tomatoes are going to be sitting on top of the scale. And so it is a focal piece. The other vegetables, I don't think there's any fruit in there, but the vegetables that go in the basket, it's harder to see where the light is coming from and whatnot. Oop, thought I shook this. I have so many new paints. I don't know how that happened. I know that we used up a ton during painting things for Easter. And so we're opening a lot of new paints at this moment. So I'm just going to run this a little bit on the side and then rinse only because I got some. And then I'm going to use some clean water here and just pull it in a little. And again, I'm giving it that little bit of a watercolor effect. You can always use the same color as your main and just add a tad white, just a tiny bit of white. All right, so I'm just going to pull that in, pull that across a little tiny bit. And where the dark is, I'm not going to add the light there. That'd be silly. You can't have light in the dark right there. But I am adding the light over to like the light's coming in this way. Okay. So we're just going to brush it across a little bit. If you feel you've gone too far, you can take that original tomato color and you can sweep it across. Actually, see, a tomato, like, it's really round. So if you wanted to get very technical, you could have a little bit of light across, but we're not going to do that because it's just a cute little tier tray piece. We don't have to get that fussy, but it's just kind of fun to practice. I'm going right over the leaf again because it doesn't matter on this one. On this one, we are going to be gluing on the actual leaves. I'm giving a little bit of dark from this side. The dark is coming on that angle. The shadow. Oh man. So yeah, just really have fun and play with it. Again, my aim is to go into most of the sets that we're doing one by one and make a whole little tutorial and whatnot. It just, you guys, we have so many sets now. It's going to take a while, huh? And then as soon as I say that, new items come out. So if you feel like that's gotten too dark, you can just take your tomato color and sweep it across a little bit. You don't want to take away all the shading you've done, but you can just, I just want to show you guys, you know, what the different looks. What I'd also really strongly suggest you do is when you get to a stage, stop and take a picture with your phone and see, and before you do anything new to it. And then you can go back to that and go, oh, wait, I like this. I didn't like that. It's really difficult to paint upside down and show you as I'm doing this. But anyway, I notice I'm going the wrong way, especially with an angled brush. But hey, it's crafting, right? We have fun. So that's what I'm going to do to the tomato. And these little toppers, I really like the sunflowers for these two. This is the banner. That's really fun. There's 5 pieces, and I think a few of them fell behind my table. That's another disaster I had before going live that we have to fix. All right, I seem to be missing one. Oh, here it is. I'm not missing anything. I'm using a piece of recycled painter's tape. We'll just call it recycled, right? Okay, and we're going to put the little orange or red in the cup of water. I don't want to use, like, you know, 25 different colors of paints because I don't want to tell you to use 25 different colors of paint. It's just too much for teaching at home. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But when I do make lists and stuff, I never want anyone to feel like, oh my gosh, now, you know, I bought this kit. Now I have to go buy 25 different colors of paint. So we try to keep it simple here. My finished items for sale usually have more detail just because it's me painting it. I'm sorry, I really don't care that way. I'm not telling you, you know, to do, and sometimes they're exactly the same, just depending. But if it's something that I'm going to be using a lot of color on, then I usually just keep that to myself and not stress you out. So see that? I'm going to glue those on, and you could actually glue this on right away. You don't even have to wait. I am using super glue. And there's a whole tutorial on that in this group for sure. I give you my favorites and why. But when you're using super glue, what you need to keep in mind is that puppy's there. It's stuck. There is very little forgiveness. So once it goes down, you're not moving it. All right, so keep your fingers out of it. And see, that paint's already dry. I'm not getting green on me. But see, I can't move that. Even if I wanted to. That puppy's on there. You can go in there and highlight those leaves if you want to. But look how cute that's going to be. Ooh, I like. I used to have an antique scale that was blue. And so, of course, this scale I want to use blue. White inside here. And what I'm going to actually do, and I should have already done this. I apologize. But I am going to paint. This is easiest, you guys. So this is another tip from me to you. Go ahead and paint the whole thing white. Let it dry. And then whatever color you're making the scale, you can easily go around and do the rim here later. Much easier to paint this all white. And we know that scales are pretty much standard. The inside of that is going to be white. So easy little dabbing. And it's, if you're going real light, it's dry enough already to go and do another. See how nicely that stays scored. And then you can choose to put to paint this whatever color you want. I'm going to either use a gray or, because this would be metal, so either a gray or a black, probably gray. And then you can just, you know, whatever you want to do that. Isn't that cute? All right, so this piece is going to dry. I'm actually going to let that dry. You know what? If I was really thinking about this one before I started, I would have picked a color that is strawberry. And I'm not sure if there's a color called strawberry. There's watermelon. I'm actually working on a watermelon set right now as well. I know. Oh, here's berry red. Boom. Put that aside because I am going to use that for something. All right, so here it is. I am going to use it for the strawberry jam. I'm calling the strawberry jam. You guys, this could be whatever kind of jam you want it to be. But for me, jam is strawberry. So, oh, that's a berry. This here, strawberry jam to me has like little bits in it. So I wanted to start it with the color that I would standardly recognize. And the top, what I thought I would do is with pinking shears. I've got to find some fabric. I'm looking above me. I have a ton of fabric. But make a little round lid with pinking shears so it's, you know, jaggedy, and then tie that on the top of the jam. But I have a little bit of that deep burgundy still, and I was just going to kind of lightly dab it around. With this, when you finish it off, trust me, it'll look really cute. You're going to put that little fabric on there with a little ribbon and the thingy on the bottom, the label that we did first off, and see how that's going to look. Because you want it to have a little bit of interest, a little bit of depth, and I think that will do it great. That'll do a really good job. Where is my little, here's my jam. There's my little label. See how that turned out? I think that's super cute. And then, like I said, I've got so much fabric, you guys, but I'll just pick a little piece of fabric and put that on the top. You're not going to see the top part at all, but see how much detail and interest that gave, just sponging that little bit of a darker burgundy along with the red. Keep it a nice little two-tone effect. Don't do what I do. Make sure that you put your lids on. I'm so bad. All right, if you've got any questions, go ahead and ask. I did have a question here. What are pinking shears? I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at me. I didn't explain because I know that a lot of folks, especially probably if you're under a certain age and you've never sewn, pinking shears are scissors that are jagged, like Halloween teeth. I don't know if you grew up with anybody sewing in your household, or if you've sewn, you would know what they are. But they were first used to when you're. I'm trying to explain this to someone who's never sewn. But if you're a seamstress sewing, and you put the fabric together, you're going to make a seam. You're going to stitch a seam, say with a sewing machine. You can use the pinking shears to cut along, and they'll put a jagged mark or cut jaggedly close to that seam, and so it is less likely to ravel. The material is less likely to ravel. But for crafting, it's just a super cute little look. So I could take a circle and cut with the pinking shears. The fabric won't ravel, but it's also just all jagged around. Really cute little look. So I hope that helps. Oh, you're welcome, Stacy. Oh. And any other questions? I am live in 3 different places right now, and I can only see questions on one, but I will go back when I finish and answer the others. All right, so for the blue, and I'm not going to stay on here too much longer just because I know it's a lot of people's dinner times and whatnot, and I'm giving you just the basics to get started. I'm using Laguna. And I really like a Tiffany kind of blue look. So that's what this is. It's a really nice vintage color, I feel. And again, the little scale piece is going on here, the way part. So you don't have to paint that whole thing in. And the tomatoes are coming up to here. And so I love it when you can overlap. You don't have to worry about keeping it clean in the lines. You're just sponging. Isn't that nice? Nice little vintage look. A little white on there. And this is, I'm going to show you a little bit different technique now. Now that I've sponged it, I'm just going to take a little bit of water on my brush. And I'm just going to brush right over the paint. Not too much water. That was a little much. But see how I'm going to pull it? Because this helps to make it like fill it in to the little pieces of wood. I'm not sanding this wood at all. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do use a little piece of sandpaper after it's all cut and all that and just run it over. Often I'll use the sandpaper after I paint. Just a really, really light touch. Really fine sandpaper. Okay. And again, I'm just trying to give it that little bit of a watercolor look, but I want to take a tad darker, maybe just one up. Is this one up? That might be too light. Let's see. Ew, mermaid tail. Oh, yeah. We'll go with the mermaid tail, but mermaid tail needs to be shook. I know a lot of people tend to shade with black or gray. Why? It's just, to me, it's a little sad to use black on a piece that, is supposed to be really colorful. I mean, you could if you're just mixing a little bit in. I want to just check this out next to it. Oh, yeah. That's really pretty. This is craft brown paper. Is the best to paint on because you can just make your fun little messes. All right, and I'm just, again, really light little touch. If you get too much, I'm going to go back over this with water. That's going to be a darker shadowy area because it's, okay, and then I'm just going to pull with a really fine touch, just the little scored areas to give it that definition. This paintbrush is screaming at me to be clean. It says, please clean me. I like to use all kinds of questions. I like to use Murphy's oil soap. You can buy all kinds of different paintbrush cleaners and stuff. Murphy's oil soap, or you can actually even boil water really hot and then take it off the stove and put your paintbrushes in it for just a quick minute. Oh, I like this color together. But yeah, I'm just going to add this little bit of shading around. Again, that's Mermaid Tail. And some areas are incredibly light. You could use a liner brush as well. My favorite brushes, I'm linking all of that on this new page. I keep calling it the new page. I know we've been here for like 6 months, but you guys, the other page I was at for quite a while. So, but we had to vacate because we had some, let's just say, some Facebook weirdness. Isn't that sad? You get that Facebook weirdness going on. I hope you can hear me. Usually I'm a lot louder, but it's it's been exhausting lately. Okay. And again, I'm just kind of making a little shadowy because I'm loving this mermaid tail color. I'm finding that it's a really nice complementary color to the Laguna. So it isn't like screaming, oh man, you used another color. It really does look like it was meant for the complementary color for shading. And that was just lucky on my part because I just opened it tonight. It's been here for a few weeks, but again, I'm just keeping this really beginner level tonight because I want everybody to feel confident that they can make a really cute set. And even if you've never painted before, I will pre-record some pieces too here to have on the site for newbies. So I just want everybody to feel confident that you can do it, that it can look really nice. I want you to be able to display it in your home without worry, okay? Remember that everybody's version of art is different. This isn't meant to be fine art. This is meant to be fun. I've decided, made an executive decision here to use this darker color for the rim, just because I thought that maybe it needed that little standout highlight. I like to use an angled brush to do things like this. My angled brushes that I love, I also have the Amazon link for that I'll add. Isn't that, I just thought that was really cool color. But yeah, I like the angled. Not everybody likes and appreciates angled brushes. I find them easy to use. All right, I want to use a little bit of a gray. I'm using neutral gray. And this brush that I'm using, it's a size 3. I may go down. Let me see. I have it even tinier. I'm going to use a size 2. Every paintbrush company has their own number system. And so if I say I'm using a number 2 angled brush, that means nothing to you if you have angled brushes. So this is just a teeny tiny, it looks like maybe a 1/4 inch stroke here, I think. I don't know. You know what? I bet it is very close to that. And I'm just going around. Just because it definitely needed different. There we go. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I'm also going to take the little piece, if I didn't lose it. You know, your things can find a way very quickly to get all over the place. So, we're going to have noise here in a minute. I think our dogs are getting fed. So I was going to end anyway. But that little piece for the scale that I showed you developed legs, like often they do. Go figure. They do that for real. So I'm going to glue this piece on and this piece on. And I'm going to find, oh, here it is. And if one of you was saying, look to the front, thank you very much. I found it. Typically, I would put this on my painter's tape, but my fingers are already a disaster with paint. So that is painted. I'm going to let that dry a minute, and then I will put that together. All right. Okay, so that was our little bit of shading tonight. That was what we were teaching, a little bit of watercolor effect and a little bit of shading. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you are part of our group, pop back in a couple of minutes, VIP Gina, and we will be spinning the wheel for prizes. And if I can figure out how to turn this off. Here we go. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.